Here is something worth thinking about when it comes to highly intelligent people. They rarely appear the way most of us picture them. The typical image is someone visibly brilliant, always talking, solving difficult problems out loud, or constantly demonstrating what they know. But research in psychology points in a different direction. People who possess exceptionally high intelligence often display quiet, subtle behavioral tendencies that do not immediately come across as signs of a sharp mind. Cognitive psychologists frequently point out that intelligence has less to do with stored knowledge and more to do with how the brain actually processes the surrounding world, and that processing reveals itself through certain patterns in everyday life. What follows are 10 surprisingly widespread habits commonly observed in people with very high IQ. The first is spending significant time in solitude. Exceptionally intelligent people tend to feel at ease being alone, not because they find others unpleasant, but because their minds are continuously working through ideas. Quiet time gives the prefrontal cortex, the region handling planning, deep reflection, and complex reasoning, the space it needs to function fully. Research from the London School of Economics found that highly intelligent individuals tend to derive less satisfaction from frequent socializing compared to the average person. Their minds genuinely need stillness to think. The second habit is relentless curiosity. People with high IQs are naturally drawn to asking questions about nearly everything, not only grand philosophical matters, but also the small ordinary ones. Why do people act that way? How does this particular system actually function? The brain is always hunting for patterns, and curiosity becomes the fuel that keeps that search going. The third habit is talking to themselves. It sounds unusual, but psychologists refer to this as self-directed speech. Research shows that verbalizing your own thoughts can sharpen focus and strengthen cognitive control. It helps the brain sort through information and reinforce working memory. So someone quietly narrating their own thought process may actually be showing a highly active mind at work. The fourth habit is being perfectly comfortable saying they do not know something. People with genuinely high intelligence tend to have a clear sense of where their knowledge ends. This connects to what psychology calls the Dunning-Kruger effect, where people with limited knowledge tend to overestimate their own understanding. Highly intelligent individuals often do the opposite. They remain deeply aware of just how much complexity exists beyond what they currently understand. The fifth habit is overthinking even minor things. An analytical mind rarely goes quiet. The same mental processes that tackle complex challenges can also turn toward picking apart everyday conversations, small decisions, or various possible outcomes in great detail. From the outside, this can resemble hesitation, but internally, the brain is actually running through multiple perspectives at the same time. The sixth habit is a well-developed sense of humor. Humor actually demands sophisticated cognitive processing. To genuinely appreciate or produce something funny, the brain must recognize existing patterns, break anticipated expectations, and link ideas that seem completely unrelated. Studies in intelligence research have found a clear and measurable connection between higher IQ and more advanced humor comprehension. The seventh habit is willingness to change their mind when new evidence appears. Highly intelligent people tend to treat their own beliefs as working models rather than permanent identities. When fresh information arrives, the model gets updated. Psychology connects this to cognitive flexibility, which is considered a strong indicator of advanced problem-solving ability. It is worth pausing here for a moment. How often do we read these behaviors entirely wrong? Someone who prefers solitude gets labeled antisocial. Someone who constantly questions things gets called skeptical. Someone who revises their position gets seen as uncertain. Yet in many cases, these are actually markers of deeper and more careful thinking. The eighth habit is late-night mental activity. Many people with high IQs report that their thinking becomes most active after dark. Some researchers link this to evolutionary psychology, suggesting that individuals with greater cognitive flexibility adapt more readily to unconventional rhythms, including staying awake and alert well into the night. The ninth habit is observing far more than speaking. Rather than jumping into a conversation right away, highly intelligent people often spend time watching how social dynamics are unfolding. They collect information, read emotional signals, and then respond in a considered way. This reflects a strong capacity for recognizing patterns within human interaction. And the 10th habit is a persistent search for meaning. High intelligence frequently brings with it a heightened awareness of the complexity woven into society, relationships, and human behavior. This often leads to deeper reflection about purpose, personal identity, and how people construct meaning in their lives. It does not always look dramatic or philosophical. Sometimes it is simply a quiet, lingering question sitting somewhere in the back of the mind, asking why we think the way we do. And perhaps that is the most compelling thing about intelligence itself. It is not fundamentally about solving equations or storing facts. At its heart, intelligence is really about curiosity, a mind that keeps reaching for patterns, keeps questioning what it assumes to be true, and keeps trying to make sense of the endlessly strange and fascinating puzzle of what it means to be human.